The boy in the street trade station was crowded. Lights blinked from every wall. Voices of many species filled the air. Smoke, music, shouting, all mixed together. But no one saw the boy. He stood near the food stalls. His skin was pale blue, his eyes large and scared. His clothes were torn, one shoe missing. He held a dirty sign in both hands. It read, "Please help. My mother is taken. She is not for sale. Please." Creatures passed by without looking. Some laughed. Some spit near his feet. Some pushed him aside. But he stayed. His name was Nalu, and he had no one left. 3 days ago, he and his mother came to this station. They came to buy medicine, but slavers were waiting. They said nothing, just took her, dragged her away with others. Nalu tried to follow. They hit him with a metal rod and left him behind. Now he searched alone. He ate old fruit, drank from broken pipes, and every day he held the sign, "Please, my mother is taken, please." That morning, he stood near a tall metal crate. A group of guards laughed nearby. A robot vendor shouted, "By now, fresh protein worms." Nalu felt weak. His legs shook. He dropped the sign, then fell to his knees. Just as his eyes closed, a hand touched his shoulder. "Hey, are you okay?" Nalu looked up. It was a human. Tall, older, with a coat full of patches and boots covered in dust. His name was Jace. He didn't look rich. He didn't look clean. But he looked kind. "What happened to you?" Jace asked. Nalu sat up, holding the sign. "They took her," he whispered. "My mom." 2 men in black armor. They said she was for the mines. Jace's face changed. "When?" 3 nights ago. "Did you see their ship?" Nalu nodded. It had a red circle on the side, and a snake wrapped around a hand. Jace froze. He knew that symbol. Slavers from the outer rings. Cruel. Silent. They moved fast. Never left survivors. He looked around. No one else cared. But he couldn't walk away. "Stand up." Jace said. Nalu blinked. "Why?" "Because I believe you, and we're going to find her." The boy looked shocked. "You'll help me?" Jace nodded. "I've seen too many people turn away. Not this time." They walked to Jace's old cargo ship, hidden between the fuel stations. Inside, it was dusty but strong. Maps filled the wall. Tools hung near the engine. Jace gave Nalu a blanket and water. "Rest for now," he said. "Tomorrow, we find that mark." Nalu held the cup with shaking hands. "What if she's already gone?" Jace sat beside him. "Then we go farther until we bring her back, or burn every cage they built." Outside the ship, the stars blinked. And far away, on a dark prison moon, a mother whispered her son's name, not knowing someone had just said yes. No one listened to the alien boy's cry until a human heard it and chose to follow it across stars. Asterisk. Tracking the slavers. Jace stood over the old ship's control panel. His fingers moved slowly across the screen. Lines of data glowed in soft blue. He searched for the red symbol, the snake wrapped around a hand. Nalu sat beside him, holding a small blanket tight. He had not spoken much since yesterday, but his eyes followed every move. "Do you know what that symbol means?" Jace asked. Nalu nodded. Double quotes. "My mother called them the dark buyers. They take people who don't have power and sell them to rich ones far away." Jace sighed. "I've seen them before. They use old mining routes. Stay away from main space lines." "Can we find them?" Jace gave a small smile. "We can try." They left the trade station within the hour. Jace's ship, the Wild Ember, flew low and fast. Its engines shook but held strong. They moved through quiet space. Dust clouds and frozen satellites drifted around them. Nalu pressed his face against the window. "I've never left a station before. First time for everything," Jace said. "Just remember, the galaxy is wide, but not always kind." Voice from the past. He landed on a rock planet called Mev Ross. No cities. Only sand, broken ships, and one old building. The rust bar. Inside, the air smelled like oil and fire. Strange faces looked at Jace and Nalu. Some stared. One alien with metal eyes whispered, "A human and a trash boy. Must be trouble." Jace ignored them. He walked straight to the back table. An old man with 3 arms sat there. "Rico," Jace said. The man looked up. "You still alive?" "Barely. I need a favor." Jace showed him the symbol. Ray Echo leaned. "And that's bad business. Slavers. Fast ones. Where do they take people?" "Used to be the mines of Kairos, but now There's talk of a new stop, hidden, floating deep near the star rift. Coordinates? Maybe. What do you have? Jace dropped a small silver cube. Ancient tech. Still works. Rico scanned it. Deal. He tapped the location on a chip and slid it across. But be careful. They don't just sell people. They break them first. Nalu heard every word, but his face stayed strong. The chase begins back on the ship. Jace looked at the map. We can get to the rift in 2 jumps, but the second one is risky. Storms, pirates, dead zones. Nalu looked up. Will she be there? Maybe. Then let's go. Jace nodded. Strap in. The wild ember roared through the black. A moment of trust during the flight. Jace showed Nalu an old photo. It was a little girl, smiling, missing the teeth. My daughter, he said quietly. Where is she now? Gone. Lost a long time ago. Nalu looked down. Do you think I'll lose my mom too? Jace paused. Then said slowly, not if I have breath in my body. Arrival at the rift. They reached the edge of the star rift. Blue lightning flashed across space. Strange winds bent light, and floating in the shadows was the slaver depot. Dark, silent, dangerous. Nalu whispered, she's in there. I feel it. Jace's face hardened. Then we go in the heart of space, where no one dared to look. A human and a boy chased hope through the shadows and didn't stop. Asterisk, the mines of Kairos slaver depot near the star rift was larger than they thought. Metal towers floated without support. Shuttles moved between platforms, and around it all, guards in black armor watched everything. Jace sat in the pilot seat, scanning the place. Nalu stood beside him. Do you see her? He asked softly. Not yet, but we're close. Jace tapped a button. A hidden screen showed heat signatures. There, he said, pointing. Small life signs in the lower decks. Slaves, most likely. Can we get inside? Not through the front. The plan. Jace opened a storage box behind his chair. Inside were the dirty jumpsuits, old ID cards, and a bag of parts. Put this on, he said. Why today? We're workers, broken repairmen with nothing to lose. But I'm just a kid. Jace looked him in the eye. So was I. Once, they suited up and flew a tiny pod toward the depot. As they landed, a red light scanned them. A guard's voice came through. The speaker, state purpose. Jace answered without blinking. Deck 3 power fix. Report from Sector 9 to 12 said leak. There was a pause. Then, the door opened. Inside the dark, they entered a wide hallway filled with noise. Steam hissed. Chains clinked. The air smelled like mail and old sweat. Slaves walked in lines, some limping, some silent. Most with no light in their eyes. Nalu stayed close to Jace. What if she's not here? We keep looking. A broken whisper in the storage room. They found an old man, sweeping. His back was bent, his arms thin. But when he saw Nalu, he paused. You're not from here. We're looking for my mother, Nalu said. She was brought here 3 days ago. Name, Selah. The man's eyes widened. She was strong. Tried to protect others. They beat her. Put her in Tunnel 6. But yesterday, there was a collapse. Nalu's hand shook. Is she dead? The man touched his shoulder. I don't know. But if she's alive, she'll be in the healer's cell. Danger grows as they moved toward Tunnel 6. A voice shouted behind them, stop. A guard pointed a weapon. You don't belong here. Jace acted fast. He threw a flash spark. Light exploded in the hall. Run. He shouted. Nalu ran fast, dodging workers, pushing through smoke. Behind him, Jace fought the guards with a metal rod. He didn't kill, but he hurt. The healers. So Nalu reached the small room marked with a red cross. Inside, he found a woman lying on a mat. Pale, weak, bruised, but breathing. Double quotes mom. He whispered. Her eyes opened slowly. Nalu. He rushed to her side. We're here. I found you. We're getting out. Jace appeared moments later, bruised but smiling. Can she walk? Nalu looked at him. If she can't, we carry her. Time to run. Alarms blared through the depot. Intruders. Level 6. Human and child. Jace grabbed Selah gently. Hold on, he said. They moved fast, taking a back path through the cargo tunnels. Nalu held his mother's hand the whole way. At one point, she whispered, you found me after all this time. Nalu smiled with tears in his eyes. I never stopped. The leap. They reached the pod. Jace opened the hatch. Get in. Blaster shots echoed down the hall. Guards shouted. but the pod launched just in time. Flying into the rift's edge, we did it, Nalu cried, but Jace shook his head. They'll chase us. We need a place to hide in the belly of darkness. The boy found his mother, and the human who never stopped became more than a hero. He became their hope. The escape plan pod shook as it flew through deep space. Jace kept one hand on the controls. Nalu sat beside his mother, holding her hand. She was weak, bruises on her arms, blood near her temple, but her eyes were awake, and her voice was soft and clear. You found me, she whispered. I told you I would, Nalu said. Who is he? She asked, looking at Jace. His name is Jace. He helped me. Sayla gave a small smile. Then we owe him our lives. Finding a safe place, Jace guided the pod into a gas cloud. The colors outside were green and blue, hiding them from scans. We can rest here for a bit, Jace said. He gave water to Sayla and food to Nalu. This won't be enough, Jace added. They'll follow us. We need a new plan. What kind of plan? Nalu asked. We find the main depot. We end their trade. If we don't, they'll keep taking others. Sayla sat up slowly. You want to fight them? Yes, Jace said, but not with weapons, with truth, with proof. Getting the evidence. Sages had a tracker from the depot. It held codes, names, trade routes. If we share this with the Alliance, he said, they'll shut down the slave ring. But will they believe us? Nalu asked. Jace looked at Sayla. You were there. You saw everything. You can speak for the lost. She nodded. I will. A voice from inside of the flew to a hidden healer's moon called Sailora. It had no guards, no armies, just old monks and quiet caves. Jace knew one of them, a woman named Maya. Maya treated Sayla's wounds. You're strong, she said. Stronger than most. Nalu explored the cave. He found drawings of planets, stars, and people helping each other. He asked Maya, why do you live here? She smiled. Because sometimes peace must grow in silence before it can roar. New decision at night. Jace stared at the sky. Sayla sat beside him. You didn't have to help us, she said. I did, Jace replied. Why? Because long ago, I lost my daughter, and I swore if I ever saw a child cry for help again, I would answer. Tears filled Sayla's eyes. You gave me back my son, and he gave me back something too, Jace whispered. Purpose, danger. Returns. Maya warned them the next day. A bounty has been placed. The slavers want you back. Jace stood tall. That we don't hide anymore. Planning the strike, they sent a message using Maya's old beacon to the Alliance. We have proof. The depot is real. We have names, faces, locations. And with it, Sayla's recorded voice. The truth in her words shook even the coldest leaders. They sent a reply. Help is coming. Hold your ground. Preparing for attack. Just trained the cave monks and rescued slaves. They set up traps, hid tunnels, gathered supplies. You carried messages between groups. His feet were fast. His voice strong. One night, he looked at Jace and said, you're not just saving us, you're saving who we could be. Final warning. A ship appeared in the sky. Black, sharp, slaver flag flying high. Jace turned to everyone. This is our moment. We don't run now. We rise. They escaped with courage, but now they stood for something greater, not just survival, but the end of every chain that bound the innocent. Asterisk. A mother's tears. Sky over the healer's moon turned dark. The slaver ship floated above like a shadow made of steel. Its engines were silent, but its message was clear. We are coming to take back what we lost. Inside the stone cave, Sayla helped tie medical rafts. Nalu brought water to the others. Jace stood at the edge of the cave, eyes fixed on the clouds. They'll land at dawn, he said. Healing in the dark. Sayla sat beside a girl with burns on her hands. She wrapped them gently. How did you learn all this? The girl asked. In the mines, Sayla said. When someone was hurt, we had to help each other. If not, we died. Nalu watched her from a distance. He remembered how broken she was when they found her. Now she stood tall, strong again. Mama, he said softly, you're a hero. She looked at him and smiled, but tears filled her eyes. No, Nalu, you are. You found me. You brought hope to a place that forgot it. A moment with Jace late. That night, Jace sat by the old fire. Sayla joined him. How long have you been alone? She asked. He stared into the flames. Since the wars. I lost my daughter, my home. I just wandered. She nodded. And now I think I've found a reason to stay. She touched his arm. You gave me back my son. You reminded me of who I was. Preparing, the young Nalu gathered the children in a quiet corner. Tomorrow might be loud, he said, but no matter what happens, remember this. You are not trash. You are not weak. You are the future. Maya watched from a distance, proud. The storm before dawn as the first light touched the mountain tops. The slaver ship dropped troops. They wore black armor, eyes hidden behind red glass. We know you're here, one shouted. Return the woman and the boy, or we burn this place. Jace stood in the open. Come and try. The battle began. The fence with unitized monks used traps to stop the soldiers. Healers turned medkits into flash bombs. Children threw smoke balls and shouted warnings. JACE fought. At the front, quick, smart, quiet. NALU and Sayla helped carry the injured to safety. The slavers grew angry. They expected fear, but found fire. Face to Facility slaver captain finally stepped forward. Tall, cruel, scar on his chin. He grabbed a young monk by the arm. Give me the boy and his mother, he growled, or this one dies. Before anyone could move, Nalu stepped out. I'm here, he said. The captain grinned. But then, Jace stepped in front of him. Double quotes. No, you want someone? Take me. The captain paused, then laughed. One old man won't stop us. Maybe not, said Sayla, stepping forward too, but all of us together will. They stand together one by one. The workers, monks, and children stood in the open. No weapons, just eyes full of fire. The captain looked around. He saw it. No one was scared. And that fear, his fear, made him step back. This isn't over, he said. Then turned and left. She had once cried behind bars, but now her tears fell in sunlight. With her son in her arms and a new fire rising behind her. Asterisk burning. The chain days passed after the slaver captain left, but peace did not return. Small attacks continued. Silent ships landed at night. People disappeared again. A message came through Jace's old beacon. The slavers are moving faster. The alliance delays. Jace stood with Maya, Sayla, and Nalu. If we wait, more will be taken, he said. We must act. Sayla nodded. We don't run anymore. Planning the strike, Jace opened a map of space routes. This red path, he said, is where they send slaves. From the depot to the breaker's ship, Maya spoke softly. If you stop that path, you break their business. Nalu stood up. Then we stop it. Forming the team that chose the best pilots, strongest workers, and fastest kids everyone had a role. JACE and Sayla would lead the strike team. NALU would deliver the broadcast signal. The one with proof, names, and Sayla's voice. Maya stayed behind to protect the cave. Before Jace left, she placed her hand on his shoulder. You were a ghost when you came here, she said. Now, you're light. The journey to the depot. Wild ember flew silently across the stars. Behind it, the small ships followed, full of brave fighters. NALU sat near Jace. Are you scared? He asked. Jace looked ahead. I am, but I'm also ready. The battle begins. They reached the depot. Alarms sounded. Slaver ships launched fighters. But this time, the humans and aliens didn't run. They fought. They dodged. They aimed at the engines, not the people. Inside the depot, Sayla led a group through the halls. She shouted, free the cages. Doors broke open. Hands reached out. Eyes blinked at the light. Nalu's missionario reached the top tower. He placed the signal chip into the port. The screen lit up. His voice echoed across the galaxy. My name is Nalu. I was left in the street, but someone helped me. My mother was taken. We found her, and now we fight for those still in chains. The message went to every alliance ship. It couldn't be ignored. The end of the departures and Sayla planted charges on the main slave transfer. Bay, ready? Jace asked. Sayla held the switch. For every name never spoken. Yes. She pressed it. A bright light. The depot shook. The chain was broken. Returned to the cavity. Flew back, tired but alive. When they landed, children ran to meet them. Maya smiled. The beacon blinked. A message from the alliance. We saw everything. You've done what we didn't. We will shut down all slaver ports. Thank you. Jace leaned against the wall. We did it, he whispered. They didn't burn the depot for revenge. They did it for every voice that had been silenced, and now would never be forgotten. More than just a rescue. The cave was quiet again, but it wasn't the same. The walls were painted now. Bright colors, glowing stars, handprints of children. Where once there had been fear, Now there was laughter, where once there had been chains. Now there was music. Jace stood near the edge of the cliff, watching the sunrise. Nalu walked up behind him. You're leaving, aren't you? Nalu asked. Jace smiled. I think my work is done here. Not for us. Jace turned to him. You don't need me anymore. Nalu shook his head. We still want you. The New World Sailor had started a small school. She taught children who had once lived in cages. They learned numbers, stories, history, and freedom. Each lesson began the same way. You matter. You are not broken. You are light. The older workers built homes from old ship parts. The monks trained new guards, not to control, but to protect. The people called their new place Second Dawn. Honor for a fighter own night. They held a quiet ceremony under the stars. They lit candles for every name lost. Sayla stepped forward and read the names of her old cellmates. Slowly, with care, then she turned to Jace. You gave us a voice, she said. I only followed it. Jace replied. Nalu stepped beside him. He followed mine. The gift before Jace left. Sayla handed him a small package. Inside was a metal badge, shaped like a circle, with a line of fire through it. What's this? Jace asked. A symbol, she said. You burned the chain. You reminded us who we were. Jace closed his hand around it. For the first time in years, he felt tears in his eyes. A new star. Jace left the next day. Not because he had no place, but because others still needed help. His ship flew alone through space, but his heart was full. Behind him, Second Dawn grew stronger. And across the galaxy, slaver ports closed. People whispered of a human who followed a child's voice in the darkness and brought back the light. Nalu's voice. Years later, Nalu stood in front of a crowd of students. His voice was steady, his eyes kind. I was small, I was forgotten, but one man listened, and because he did, I got my mother back. But more than that, I got the chance to be more than just a rescue story. I got the chance to build a new world. Sometimes, it only takes one human to listen and one small voice to save 1,000 more.